This is why you have to watch these videos, because they tell you about the corruption. Now, this is going on about Jersey, right? But this is about every town and city across the world, right? Where those with long standing families, yeah, that have been well established, from the 15, 16, 17, 1800s to the 1900s, yeah, the lords, the dukes, and the earls, they've all got families intermingled in every piece of society you could think of, especially the top echelons like police stations, social services, banks. I'm trying to think of other things. Probation service, all them Crown Court, magistrates, um, family courts. Do you know what I mean? But this is the problem. Listen, he rounds it off really lovely of how corrupt the system is because of family orientation that protect each other hand in hand, because they won't arrest their own brothers, let alone the brotherhood. Do you see what I mean? Because the brotherhood is there to protect their families within that Masonic lodge, and each Masonic lodge that stands in your town is an encampment of their power and their strength. That's their castle. Do you know what I mean? It's a castle. It's a gang hut. They have gang signs. They have they put the gang signs everywhere. Anyway, I show that in my TV. Across the TV, they always put the square and compass, the 232 or the 323. That's not just in there; it's in your kids' games and everything else, and it shows their power to their brothers. Can you spot this? They're in there like Hogwarts. They learn the symbolism, and then they go out onto the streets and they try and and they're testing each other all the time, how well you are within that Masonic lodge. Are you fit to be a king? Are you fit to be a queen? You know what I mean? Or anything else as you rise up through the ranks. We've got rings of protection. Some people don't even know what the fuck's going on. Do you know what I mean? But they're getting paid for it, for that ring of protection. Do you see what I mean? And like I said, that you get someone standing there, go, well, that don't go on in my lodge. Of course, he's talking the truth. Do you know what I mean? Because it don't, but you'll get the bad ones go, well, it don't go on in my lodge neither, and that's how they back each other up, you know what I mean? So when people have conviction and go, well, that don't go on in my lodge, no, of course it fucking don't, because you're part of the ring of the protection and a fool and a scapegoat that's led by the Judas goats before you that are corrupt and have gone through the right door, But listen to this guy. He sums it up. This is what it is in your town, in your cities. These people have got well long established families, yeah. They run all the hotels, your piers, your bloody nightclubs and all the pubs and everything else, but they're all interconnected. They're never investigated. They're all got the best businesses and top businesses, but they won't be investigated because it'll all come crumbling down. Do you think they're going to take, let's say, for instance, I owned like a bread making company, yeah, just to keep it simple. I own a bread company and I'm serving bread to everyone in my district, yeah, and I've been here since 18 whatever. I put all my money in, my dues, you know what I mean, over the centuries. My family have, you know what I mean, we paid our dues. We got, we paid copious amounts of money, yeah, to be in the firm, in that clique, right, of the gang. Yeah, I celebrate every weekend with my brothers. I'm shaking a hand. There's a policeman there. There's a magistrate there. There's a court judge there. You know what I mean? There's a drug dealer. You know what I mean? He'll do me a favour. He'll beat someone up or do something for me if I need it done. Do you know what I mean? Am I going to really arrest him or are they going to take me to court? Of course they am, because I pay, I pay for that thing to keep shush and not investigate and keep away from me. The signs are on my shop. Do you know what I mean? The people know who I am within the community, because the community are the Freakmasons, yeah? And we deem fit I'm the chief constable, my best friend. Is he going to really investigate my criminality within the community? Of course not, because I'm paying him to keep shush as a brother. Do you see what I mean? Plus, he's my brother-in-law anyway, and he's married to my sister. Do you see what I mean? Or blah, 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 through them bloodlines, and they're all arranged marriages, some of it anyway, as you go up into the higher ranks of it with the Masonic Gypsy G travellers. But anyway, that's another story. But they've got long-standing history, running markets, running chip stalls, running all sorts of different things around your town and city, restaurants, blah, blah, blah. So it ain't going to happen. But he rounds it off nicely. Listen to this.
The negative side was that you had police officers, politicians, drug dealers, money launderers, lawyers, journalists, and all the rest who went to school with each other, sometimes related to each other, and trying to deal with professional compromise and conflicts of interest was always very difficult. I got into an issue with one custody sergeant about.
See, and that's what it is. And then obviously you want to watch the, the corruption and conspiracy and cover up on Jersey, Graham Power. Watch that yourself on YouTube, But that's just part of it, of what you're dealing with when you're talking about Freemasonry within towns and cities. These are well-established people, drug dealers standing toe-to-toe with a brother who's a bloody vicar or your local priest. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and they're brothers. They're not going to say anything about it because of the oath. And they remember that not only their oath, their see, it's terrible when my mind's just racing. I just can't remember things. Their oath and obligation to that brother or that sister. Do you see what I mean? Plus, when we get in the hotels that we own, whether you're going to be getting in with the prostitutes, whether they're male or female, or the females are sleeping with the men. Do you know what I mean? Blah blah blah. We're having our bum stretching orgies and gaylord fucking antics. Do you know what I mean? Whether you're going to be involved in that anymore, or we'll take your house away from you, you'll lose your job because we control the jobs, whether you're getting a job or not. You know what I mean? That all stands up to, against them. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to, have their missus having an affair or anything like that, blah, blah, and all the antics they get up to anyway when they're drugging their missuses and then getting their pals in to sleep with their missuses, and they don't even know. They just think they've had a drunken wild night. They wake up in the morning and go, oh, that was a heavy night, and they can't remember nothing because they've been hypnoed or whatever the bloody word it is, and shit like that, and they think, it's just madness. Do you know what I mean? What I know and what they do. Do you know what I mean? Getting angry again now, but yeah, this rounds it up and sums it up just about right. You know what I mean? You've got magistrates standing with drug dealers, you've got policemen standing with drug dealers, you've got the vicar standing with the drug dealers. Do you know what I mean? And they're all family members. Like that's my brother, that's my sister, that's this, that's that. You know what I mean? And they control everything that we see, what we do. Do you know what I mean? You hear the radios, your local radio, regardless of what that radio station is. You look what's behind it and who's running that radio station and what's being broadcasted to everyone in your neighbourhood. It's all run by the Freemasons. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, I don't go too high on it, but Anglia, you've got Anglia, BBC One, BBC Two, all of it. Every fucking channel is run by the same people, and they pretend they're in competition, like the Sun is in competition with the Mirror, but they're both owned by the same Freemason companies. Do you know what I mean? They just know that you will fight over and divide yourself. Oh, they're Tory paper, they're a Labour paper, this is that. Do you see what I mean? It's all that divide and conquer. Do you see what I mean? But once you see past that, they print what they want you to print. If there was a paper, for instance, printing the wrong thing, no Freemason would buy the paper for starters, yeah, because they get warned off. That an email would go out, or a fucking fax, whatever you want to call it, whatever they do. They send pigeons back in the day. It don't matter what it is. At the end of the day, that would be sent to every Masonic lodge. First of all, it goes to the Grand Lodge. Yeah, then it comes down to their constitutional lodges, and then all the other lodges, blah, 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 and then to the chapters, yeah. And then when they have their minutes meeting, they have off book like meetings or court cases or whatever. They say, right, we don't want anyone to buy the Times anymore. They won't buy it. That's it. Every brother, every sister will avoid buying that Sun or the Mirror or whatever they deem fit not to have done. But they won't, because they know they're working for them. Do you know what I mean? So they don't do that. Do you know what I mean? Because no one's going to go against them, because they don't want to lose their house. They don't want to be ostracised from the lodge and all the perks that come along by being a member of the Freemasons. You see what I mean? That Masonic passport they get gives them freedom to run around in them tunnels. Shit like that. Drugs are laid on. Fucking everything's laid on because they pay their dues. And like I said, money is nothing to them, because like I said, they run the drug industry within your town and city. It all flows into the lodge. All the businesses that are leased all flows to them. So I mean, there's nothing that any firm belongs to the Masonic Lodge, and it's willed down each and every time. They can keep changing their names, like different nightclubs or pubs or whatever, changing the names or the names of the businesses. But you look behind every and each time, it's all run by businesses. That businesses, I did You can search it up. I can't remember. There's an ice cream parlour in a village, right? And it had like over 500 plus businesses associated to that one postcode. Do you know what I mean? So that was a business gone from the 17th or the 1800s. You know what I mean? So out of us 500 plus businesses associated just to that one postcode, which was Masonic, of course, and Freakmasons. You know, so how do anyone else in that day and age, in 2024 or 2023, when I researched that, who has a chance if 500 businesses are all controlled by a couple of Freakmasons? You know, do you see what I mean? You know, 500 businesses they control, and they deem who gets the jobs and who don't get the jobs. Do you see what I mean? But the people who got the preferences in them 500 businesses that were owned were all Freakmason family related. You know, sisters, brothers, do you know what I mean? All being employed, all getting the perks of the fucking Masonic Lodge of ownership. Do you see what I mean? You know, you're respectable in the community because we've give you this business and you can run it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is. I get boiled up because I know exactly what's fucking going on, but that's what you're up against. Like I said, you know, you've got these people that are family related, go back centuries and decades. They have a coat of arms. They're lords, dukes and earls. That's why you see coats of arms around the Masonic Lodge. That's why you'll see all these paintings and portraits of all these long past masters and worshipful masters and grand masters. Do you know what I mean? Because the history's there. Look at the history anyway. What history? Think to yourself now, if you're profane, what history have you got? What do you belong to? What can you say that you've got history to? Nothing. Do you see what I mean? Nothing. But they go, oh yeah, we've got this, we've got that, you know, we've got all the presidents, you know, that's part of our history. You know, we were in this war, that war, this war, that war. We're in that civil war, this civil war, that civil war. Plus you got to remember they do all them snuff movies. If you do this and say this is what we're going to do to you. You know, it's all played to them in the lodge, you know, snuff videos. If you say anything, we're going to do this to you. You know what I mean? That's just part of what they do, you know. Like I said, they learn how people hypnotise people, how to use drugs, chemicals. Do you know what I mean? It's about smell, touch, feel, hear. It's all there. Mathematics. Do you know what I mean? Astronomy. They learn it all. You know what I mean? They keep that power away from all profane people that stand in the north with God. You know? And what did God stand in the beginning? In the darkness, And then he said, let there be light. Lucifer, the light, who went to the east or the west or wherever he went, and that's who they follow. They follow Lucifer. They don't want people who are living in the dark north, which is the profane people, which is God's children. Do you see what I mean? They follow Lucifer. You know, so where does God want to stand? People think he's in the light. He's not in the light. He's in the dark. He likes the dark. God, the true God, the one God, that we perceive to have, but there's many gods, obviously. I can't go into, you know, I don't go into religious side because that's the cause of most wars and strife. And again, it's just another divide and conquer, orchestrated by them. Do you know what I mean? So long as you're without the temple, let's put it this way, you are not a part of their brotherhood. You're not part of their sisterhood. You're part of nothing. But their history goes back decades and centuries. You know, they were involved with Joan of Arc. Do you see what I mean? They were involved with like Prince Charles went back to, you know, Vlad the Impaler, you know, and all of that sort of larky. You know what I mean? And that's the history they've got, and it's all to do with knights. You know, the knights and the shield and the heraldry of that and the bloodlines that came through down the centuries, right from Egypt all the way through down to today. But the thing is, are we going to carry on allowing them every century and every decade now, allow these people that are incompetent to fucking share or give anything to anyone in a proper manner? Are we going to allow these greedy parasites within our communities, to carry on ruling and controlling our neighbours and our neighbourhoods? They're the ones that causing all the drug dealing and all the robberies. You know, you get robbed or you get burgled or you this, that and the other. The only people that are buying the gold, and the wealth and the thing are the drug dealing crime lords, and then they're buying it and then they're scrushing it down, then they're taking it to London or whatever, and they're accumulating that all the time. You know, I could give you stories now, but I don't want, you know, I've got other videos on that. But that's what they're doing, you know. So you're not getting burgled and robbed because, or, you know, because of he's a burglar and he's a robber. No, he's wanting his drug money. And who's putting that drugs onto the street? The same people where you'll walk into their shop and buy their products. Do you know what I mean? And go, yeah, you're great for the community. Do you know what I mean? But no, it's not. You know what I mean? We need to stop supporting these people that fuel their drug life, yeah, and have all the best spreads and all the rest of the fucking shit that go with it, the best holidays, you know, and blah, 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 blah. But they look like heroes within your community, standing with kids, yeah, going here, oh, I do charity and all this crap. But the internet just like Jimmy Savile, you know what I mean? I do charity, so let's not investigate him, leave him alone. Do you know what I mean? You're seeing it time and time again. It's, you know, I'm just talking about Savile. You know, there's other people on my forum, if you look, you know, the whistleblowers that have been shushed up and everything else. That's what they do because they've got all the powerful positions. Like if I say, for instance, knew a chief inspector, right? That was, for instance, molesting children, and I reported that would be shushed up. I'd more than likely be run over or murdered. Do you see what I mean? Because they ain't going to allow that to happen because we can't let the public know, cool, no way, you know what I mean? And that's how it is. They shush it up. And they shush everything up, you know, big cases like, you know, all the paedophile rings in Parliament and all the rest of it. But you imagine it on the smaller scale, you know what I mean? What power do I hold as a profane person? You know, you've got hundreds of thousands of people marching on number 10. What happened? Nothing. Across the world, you had people protesting about wars, yeah? Don't go to the, what war was it? I can't remember what war it was, but it's the biggest protest. Look it up, you can Google it anyway. But every town and city across the world done a protest of not going to war with Iran, I think, or Iraq or something. But you still went to war. Those, how many people? 24 people? What was it? Fucking that pervert Prime Minister we had, Bush and whoever else. So it was based on, say, 30 people decided that we go to war, hundreds of thousands of people are killed, and that's it, innit? Do you see what I mean? How can you, you know, do you see what I mean? How can you, you know, justify that? Do you see what I mean? These people, you're getting people like within your town, there's say 100 people, yeah, what control the town hall, and you're parish councils, for instance, including in the, you know, the United States or any other country, you've got this certain powerhouse of people that go back decades and centuries that are all Masonic Freemasons, lords, dukes and earls and knights templars, whatever you want to call them. There's Eastern Stars there's you know, there's Shriners, you know what I mean? They're all within your community and they are your community and they're running it. And any threat to that power source that they have, yeah, because they want to keep control of it, because you're the population, they want to control the population and the way we think and the way we are. They control the education system. I've shown that in their own Masonic books. You know, the operation of controlling the school, we must, do you know what I mean? That's their words, their books, you know, the operation of controlling the school board. If we're to carry on doing that, then we must, you know what I mean? That's from their own books. You can see it. I've shown you in my own videos, you know, how they're controlling the, you know, the education system. And then you wonder why your kids are dumbed down by this system. The system is Masonic, and like I said, it works for them. You know, when you're getting a miscarriage of justice, see, they won't investigate themselves, because you imagine that, the amount of injustices these people have done to the profane people over the decades and the centuries. Do you know what I mean? You imagine it. You know what I mean? That'd be worse than the trials, what they did during World War II, you know, with the Germans and all that. What happened to the Germans anyway? Because they were all Freemasons, like I said. They protected their brothers. They took them to America and set them to work for Americans, you know, and then they did all them other things, you know, what they came out with. They're still in charge today. Nothing's changed. They were all lords, dukes and earls, them Germans. Do the research on it, their history, yeah? You know, all them barons, and you think they were called barons for nothing, Baron von whatever and all that. See what I mean? It's all lords, dukes and earls, and that's when they go to fight, trying to take over the houses or the families. Yeah, we can take advantage of them, just the same as I've said before. It's all like a Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Houses trying to overthrow other houses, and they go, "Oh, call to banners, come to my war," you know, and protect our family. Do you know what I mean? And then they all go, and that's how they go to war. But they get us to war for them. They sit on the sidelines and go, right, this is from my country, that's from your country. Right, now we'll fight to see who gets dominance. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. And when they run out of profane people to stop fighting, Like obviously the Germans lost the war because all the well-established lords, dukes and earls and the families, the kings and the queens, their families were the stronger, blah, blah, blah. And that's what happened. Germany got dominated, things like that. And that's what happens. The families are strong. It's the biggest gang controls the narrative. That's what it's all about. And the biggest gang within your town, encamped within your town, the biggest gang and the biggest drug lords and whatever you want to call it, the biggest powerhouses, and they can call in anyone from any town, any city, any drug lords, any fucking thing they want to any town to shush people up and make it look like an accident. Yeah, is the Masonic lodges, and they're doing it. Look up P2 Lodge. P2 Perv or something that's called in Italy. Yeah. The P2 Lodge. Look at the corruption, the criminals there. They were blowing up people and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? Murder after murder. What was happening? What did they do about it? Nothing. They're still ruling it and controlling it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. The drug dealers are doing it now. They're killing each other and shooting each other for the privilege and the right to deal drugs within your communities. What's been said about it? Who's marched on it? No one. No one said nothing. Not a thing. In 30 years has anyone done anything. They've been controlling your doors, controlling your clubs. What have the police said about it? Nothing. Not a fucking dicky bird. But you look behind them people that belong to the lodge, and I'm talking about security firms, they all belong to the Masonic lodge. You look behind that, there's lords, dukes and earls and well-established families that have been in your towns, within your cities for centuries and decades. Yeah, and they're behind it all, because it keeps you enslaved by their nation of freak masons. Anyway, have a great day, my profane friends. Have a good one.